Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's John, how you doing today? First of all,
I'm doing great, man. You know it's midnight, man.
I know. We gonna get you in and out, man. I know it's late, man. Jimmy, appreciate you wanting to come on, um, and and everything else, man. But how'd you get into real estate though?
I got into real estate, man. So I started out right before I got into real estate, I was doing construction. I went to school for remodeling houses.
Uh-huh.
Right after I got kicked out of college, you know what I mean. Started doing that, and the guy, I'm in Philly, so it was an investor that was in New York. A lot of people in New York invest in Philadelphia because it's so much more affordable. So he came down, and my brother's homie, he had a construction company. So I started working for him. We were remodeling warehouses and turning them into student housing around the Temple University area. But I saw, we were really busting our ass. A lot of, hard labor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Summertime, it's burning up. We having fun. I'm learning a lot, through the experience. But I'm like, I'm on the other side. I'm on the wrong side of this thing. You know what I mean?
Fact.
Get some of the investor money because he's making the big bucks, but we're putting in the hard work. So I always, from then, they got on my radar, and then got a guy, he knew that I was looking for some properties at the time. And this is when the crash hit. So a guy was saying that he had some properties for sale. He put me on to him. It was 2 properties for $10,000.
Yeah.
Beat that. So at the time, I didn't know anything. So I gave him the money. He gave me the deeds. But little did I find out after I fixed one up that, both the other properties were stolen. You know what I mean? It was a guy, he was going around scamming. He was researching like abandoned homes, and he knew that the owners were deceased. So, more than likely nobody was coming back because it's been deceased. Vacant for so long that, nobody's expecting the property to be, rehabbed, part. So I fixed it up and I went to go sell it. And it was under contract in a couple of weeks, but they asked me for the HUD-1. For those who don't know, the HUD-1 is like a settlement statement that shows all the expenses for the transaction. But at the time, I didn't know what the hell it was because, we just did a quick handshake deal. So, they didn't, I told them I didn't know. So they referred me to a lawyer, and we had to do what was called a quiet title process. And quiet title process, when you have to find a rightful owner, and if they really want the house, then they get it back, and I was just lost out. But the lady was deceased. We searched for her through certified mail 3 times, had to put ads in the newspaper and everything. Nobody responded. So I was able to keep the house, thankfully.
And the rest is history.
Rest is history. After that experience, I had to go learn everything, about real estate, ate up every book, watched every video, got mentors, and here I am.
Now it's a beautiful thing that you were fortunate enough to be on the other side in terms of the development, raw material costs, labor costs, and the length of an actual project. That's part of the deal too.
Yeah, that's major. You know what I mean? That not knowing that aspect is very valuable because it can make or break your project. Your contractor, you're only as strong as your contractor. You know what I mean? Really. Because, you're dependent on them so much, and if they know you don't know, then they can take advantage.
So you've been on this side of real estate for at least 12 years now. In terms of buying and retaining, sharing, remodeling, and all that. So you got a great grasp of the real estate market.
Absolutely, and I'm on the other side now. I do hard money, so I provide capital to real estate investors. So,
oh man, okay, you getting that 10%, huh? I remember going, I was like, hey, do I pawn my jewelry or do I get a hard money loan? I remember them days when I started out, dog, man. God, I used to hang out with a lot of NBA players, and I used to pretend I made the money they made, you know what I mean? So I had the jewelry and shit. I was like, man, I pawned the jewelry, dog. You know what I mean? I pawned that shit, and then I ended up melting something down. I melted some pieces down and just got rid of it because I wasn't gonna wear the shit now once your fucking life just changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so real estate's been extremely successful for you, yeah. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I would say Have you ventured out to other states as well?
Yeah, I have some property in Maryland, the Carolinas, and everything. I was in California for a while, but I didn't buy anything there. I did, loans. I do loans nationwide, but as far as my investing, it's
Oh,
mainly, Philly, Maryland, like Baltimore specifically,
oh,
and the Carolinas.
so you doing a lot of, so you going up and down that 95 for the right reasons.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the reason why I asked you all those questions because I want people before we get into Jay Morrison that you actually have the experience in terms of both sides of the fence as it pertains to real estate. The development part and in terms of the actually buying the properties as well. And so man, we could just go start from the top to bottom, man, and take your time, be as elaborate as you want, man, and details, and I'll interject as people in the comment section come in. But how did this all begin in terms of you and Jay Morrison and your relationship?
Well, like I said, I met him. For those who didn't see the interview with False Prophets that I did,
Uh-huh.
I met him. I saw him on the Breakfast Club. That was the first time I got introduced to him.
Mhm.
And then after doing that, I did a little research. I saw he was on the NBC show for Celebrity
Sure.
Realtor or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't really too much care about the realtor part, but when he was on specifically when he was on the Breakfast Club, I heard him talking about developing hotels and big apartment complexes and this and that was attractive to me because I was doing residential. Sorry, this fly messing with me, but I was doing residential real estate at the time, and I wanted to learn more about the commercial and development. So that I reached out to him to be my mentor, and so we connected.
What year was this?
That was about whenever that Breakfast Club interview was. I would say about 2012, maybe 2013.
Yeah, so you got years in the game. You got some equity in the game by
Yeah,
then.
at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
most definitely. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I think, that's what definitely why he reached out to me to start the Jay Morrison Academy because I had the real estate knowledge and I had some capital at the time, you know what I mean, to make it happen as well, which he was lacking both of those, but he did have a following and everything else. So,
Mhm.
that's how we were supposed to put it together.
Yeah, and when you guys connected, was it immediate in terms of like building business, or did y'all develop a friendship first and then jump into the business aspect?
Nah, it was almost immediately business. You know what I mean? I only saw him a couple of times prior to that. Maybe before we actually did business, I would say a handful of times. We met up, but it wasn't like we was kicking and going to clubs or anything like that. You know what I mean? It was strictly business because remember when I first contacted him, I was looking to learn. You know what I mean? So I wasn't coming to act like it was anything else.
Mm. Yeah, and when you guys had these conversations in terms of the commercial real estate, uh, did you did he give off the impression that he knew what he was talking about, or he was already in the business, or did you have more experience than him?
We,
Or
we never got to the conversation about community. We even got there, man. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He once he realized, what I had, he pitched the idea to me about forming an academy because, like
Okay,
I said, he was putting those videos out on World Star at the time, and he was
I
gaining.
remember that.
Yeah, so a lot of people was reaching out, outside of me to get coaching, and he was like, which was a great idea. Like, you know what I mean? Let's start a school. That way we could service everybody. And I thought it would be a great idea. So that's what we made it happen.
And when did y'all actually start the academy together?
Yeah, most definitely. We were 50-50 partners initially.
Oh, 50-50 part of the emission. So there was some capital on both ends that was put together to create it.
No, it was my capital. It was 100% my capital. Initially,
Huh.
he didn't put anything in it. He got another investment later on.
Mhm.
But he didn't put anything in it. But he had valuable, the following, which was valuable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The product you got, a lot of people that's willing to buy it, and that's valuable there. So, yeah.
What year are we in now in terms of the Jay Morrison Academy?
That was 2014 when it launched. But
24. And was there a return on it, or did it just?
No, it was no return on that. I backed out, you know what I mean? I didn't necessarily back out technically, but I backed out from like the day-to-day processes of it prior to it launching because Jay just wasn't seeing eye to eye, you know what I mean? I couldn't continue doing business with him. So I decided to take a more passive role. So he told me he had this other investment coming in. So I was like, look, you taking that money. I'm gonna sit back, take a little passive role, just collect my checks. I'm not, dealing with it, no more. So he was like, cool. So I signed off to them 20% ownership.
So you had you have a 30% through perpetuity. Was that the agreement?
No. Well, I just signed down for 20%. You know what I mean? 20% of the profits, instead of 50% of the profit.
Oh, so now, okay, so okay. I thought you gave them 20%. So now you own 20% through perpetuity.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And at this time, and at this time when I did that, and like I said, he took another investment from a mentee of his. You know what I mean? A young kid, his father. And this was one of the things. I really knew. Well, at the time, I knew it was still kind of bad, but because the young kid, anyway, his father left him a house in Miami. His father died. It was like free and clear. So Jay talked him into refinancing the house, and he gave him like majority of the money. He got like $400,000. He gave, Jay took damn near all of it. You know what I mean? And as far as I learned, like I said, I stopped dealing with him. But as far as I heard from somebody else that was still around him, he never paid the guys. He never paid the guys money back, and he ended up losing the house.
Damn.
So the guy lost out on his inheritance, trusting in Jay.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, he gave 10% of the company for that amount of money, So, that was one of the crazy things, that I seen, that really turned me about it.
And when you agreed to your 20, can we ask how much you invested? Is that too much information, or?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, it was about 30. You know what I mean? Now, we didn't get anything back.
30,000, 30, not 30 million, not $30, 30,000.
Yeah, like 30.
Okay.
I mean, but I did get like 12,000 back. You know what I mean? It was an account in my name. Once I saw he opened up another account. Like I said in another interview, he couldn't get. For some reason, his credit was definitely damaged severely. He couldn't get, like a PayPal account or whatever. So I had it in my name for the Jay Morrison Academy. So the money was initially flowing through there, but he didn't like that I had the control over the account. So he went and opened up another bank account. And I don't know if it's through him or what, but he funneled it, he had the transactions, going through that account. So, and then, I left the money in there, you know what I mean? But he didn't want to show me and the other guy, the bank statements. I mean, he didn't want to give us access to the bank account. So the transaction, because I was, I knew other businesses that he tried to launch, and he had vendors that I knew, and he was paying them out of that account. So I saw that, I said something to him, and that's when he went and opened up another account. You know what I mean? So he refused to, give me access to the other bank account. So I took, the money that was left in that account. I'm not gonna sit around and, of course, leave it there. You're not giving me my money back.
And that was the 12,000.
Right. Yeah. So that's what it is.
And so the 18 is still owed to you, or not even 18, but
more than that at this point.
The business from, because he said he has over 200,000 students, right?
I think over the course of time, he don't have. I know for a fact he don't have 200,000 students at this one point in time. He's talking over the course, and it's probably not even that. He's an exaggerator. Yeah. I mean? Listen to what he said.
And so what I'm asking is, beyond that $12,000, you have yet to receive any payment from him as it pertains to you owning 20% through perpetuity.
Not at all. I got my lawyers involved. When it initially happened, we cut ties and whatever. But at the same time, he was going through a bankruptcy. You know what I mean? So I would have wasted my money. So I didn't pursue that. And I mean, see, even like now, I'm pretty sure he probably still doesn't have any assets. He's living off of that fund money. You know what I mean? Any other investments that anybody else can give him. So if you pursue him legally, you're not going to get much, if anything.
because everything is tied up through LLCs, right? And
he don't have any assets. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything, he don't have any assets.
damn, he done he done paperworked everyone up. You know what I mean? So he's basically untouchable because he can say, well, legally this is where it's at. Now, can I ask you, has there been any like face-to-face conversations, albeit through FaceTime, Instagram, or actually phone calls?
No, I mean, I haven't conversated with Jay or had any type of communication. Last time we were communicating was through lawyers, and that was in probably 2014, like when the thing launched. But you know, I really moved on from it, honestly. You know what I mean? But I'm over it. You know, I'm still doing my thing. I was doing my thing when I met him. I'm still doing my thing. You know what I mean? So I chalk it as a lost learning lesson. I didn't forget about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I didn't forget about it. You know, timing is everything. And, you know, now, honestly, I see it getting traction. You know what I mean? Shout out to Tony the Closer. Shout out to False Prophets. You know what I mean? Because they really putting their work on a justified cause. You know what I mean? I know it. I know several other victims, and I'm hearing more and more every day from what they're doing. You know what I mean? And it's all making sense. You know, so like, at the end of the day, you know, we can't allow this in our culture. He's a cancer-tied society because he's trying to portray himself as a black leader. You know what I mean? And, you know, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, nobody's perfect. But you can't portray yourself like somebody that's fighting for, you know, fighting for black injustices when you damn near doing the same thing, but worse, because you acting you on the front lines for us. You know what I mean? You want us to trust you, but you doing the same people that's trusting you and helping you out dirty. Like, I mean, how was that stand up? You know what I mean? Everybody knows that. But if you look at him, you know what I mean? He can fool you. The guy has the gift of gab. Like, he's talented. You know what I mean? He got the gift of gab. You know what I mean? But he got too many holes in his story, and he's gonna have a hard fall. You know what I mean? But and so ultimately, that's why, you know what I mean, I'm doing these interviews like this now, because I don't do these interviews. I don't even promote my business like that on social media. I mean, you see on my page that you don't see me like that. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's bigger than me. You know what I mean? Like, people need to know who you're dealing with out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But go ahead, Fred.
No, I was gonna say, Rod, is and the reason why I did this 4 weeks ago, I did a video as it pertains, because Tone Talks was talking about, and Tone Talks lives in LA. And I saw him do a video, and I didn't know too much about it. And so I made a video. Actually, we did a live show on it. And I was like, man, maybe we should take a step back on this right now, because we got Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and then 2 people DM me screenshots, people that support me, and they financially supported the channel. They're very active in the comment section and all. And I says, oh shit, I have to use my platform now at this point. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I have primary evidence that support the claims that he's racketeering. This is like his racketeering, you know what I mean? And I think that is obviously completely unjust, and I definitely don't know what becomes of it, but that's what inspired me to get involved, is 2 subscribers from this channel that I know personally. One of them is so personal that I introduced him to Earl Spence, who's a world championship fighter. He actually took a picture on my dime, you know what I mean? So that's what another reason that made me personalize this, you know. But when you look at the Treff life, I know you don't have a part in it, but when you hear those stories and you hear his character, is that pretty much parallel to the man you met in 12?
No, not to who I met, you know what I mean, initially, because, you know, con artists or, you know, somebody like that, they're not going to show you who they are, you know. So, you know, I felt like I'm going to keep 100% with you, Fred, you know what I mean, because that's the type of guy I am, you know what I mean, it's genuine. But so, I mean, he, you know, I felt like he, you know, was all right, you know what I mean. I really did. Else I wouldn't did business with him, you know what I mean. You know, he said he went to, you know, he was, you know, God fearing, this and that. Not that we know that, you know, not just because he said that, but, you know, I'm paying attention to him. You know what I mean? I'm paying attention, and, you know, I see how he's inspiring people and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe I was blinded by, you know what I mean, that. And, you know, honestly, I did give him a little too much credibility because he was on TV and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna be 100% again. He woke me up to that, like, you know, because this is before we had. This is way before we had a lot of these social media people. You know what I mean?
Fact,
I really pay attention. You know what I mean? I thought you had to be verified to be on TV or
yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I know he just probably slipped through the cracks on the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? They probably kicking themselves in the ass for having him up there at this point. But,
Mhm.
you know, again, they made mistakes. So he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's really good in that aspect. But you just gotta, you know, listen to these stories, man. Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? You don't gotta just listen to me. And you can even look into me. You know what I mean? Like, I've never raised money from a person in my life for any of my businesses or anything like that. You know what I mean? You won't find any dirt on me. And I
Sure.
do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so, you know, I pride myself on integrity, morals, and respect and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I'm even, you know, dealing with this stuff right now because, you know, I feel like it's a higher cause and purpose for this.
No, it's important, and just to personalize it for me, I don't know if Jarvis remember this, but Jarvis and I had he's a person in the comment section. He and I had a conversation in the DM, and it's all coming back to me now. I didn't know how much I was going to invest, and I was thinking more of a donation. I was thinking I was going to invest somewhere between $500 and $10,000. And the reason why I didn't invest, you know, because he didn't get back to me. Because I wanted to have a conversation with him, like, what is this? What are you doing? I don't know where you're at with this. In my head, I was like, man, if I can just be an asset to the long-term projection of this thing, oh my God, like I would be so proud of myself. I didn't want it because obviously I in this mural is Marcus Garvey right beside Malcolm X in my mural back here. And so that immediately took me back to Marcus Garvey. And he played upon that too, because if I hear group economics, Marcus Garvey, oh, back to Africa movement. I'm from Harlem. So if we ain't talking Marcus Garvey, we talking Malcolm X. You get what I'm saying? So that's go ahead.
No, I'm just not to cut you off, but I'm saying, like, to add to what you were saying, he called himself Young Malcolm too. You know,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
he played off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
sad and like it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? It gotta be stopped. You know what I mean? Like enough is enough. You know what I mean? I sat back for a while. You know what I mean? But I knew people would try to write me off as hater.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But like I said, timing is everything. You know, like I said, you know, they got the traction going right now. People starting to listen. So
Mhm.
we'll add some more, you know what I mean, facts in there, you know, that people need to know.
Yeah. And I'm actually glad I did. And then I gave him a second chance. Right? He did a Lamert Park is probably a mile from my house, right? It's just down the hill. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to his corner class. You know, and I didn't know that day I found out, or 2 days ago, we had mutual friends, right? And I wanted to, and they were looking for a local investor, right? And I was like, oh, I'll speak for him. And I spoke to Ernestine for about 5 minutes. And she said she'll get back to me. And I told her, yeah, I invest, I do this, I do that. And she never got back. I'm not blaming her this, but she never got back to me. But I wanted to go down there and meet with them and talk to them. But Jay was moving too fast in the audience, right? And so I had an hour to literally look at him, hour and a half to literally feel him out and see how he was moving and working the crowd. And I was like, maybe not. You know what I mean? But I never said anything. I haven't. This is my first time speaking out in telling this story. Because I wanted it to be real. You know what I mean? And then when you look at 15,000 people, close to $14 million later, no return. I don't care what, man. This is he needs to be under the jail, dog. You know what I mean? And the catch is he may not because of the paperwork. You understand what I'm saying? Like no, this is an investment opportunity. It's legal gambling. You know what I mean? It's white collar gambling. Like this is basically what this is. You know, and I just in your greatest guesstimation, what do you think happens? Are you showing up on August 20th? Are you going down there?
Yeah, I'm going down there. Yep. Shout out to Tulsa. Yeah, I'm going down there.
Yeah. And what's the goal? Do you? I know you're not in charge, but in your greatest guesstimation, what will be the ultimate goal here?
Give him a dose of his own medicine. You know what I mean? Like really, you know what I mean? He like
Uh,
act like he on the front line. You know what I mean? Now he gonna have a bunch of mad people at his front door. You know what I mean?
mm, mm,
He gotta face everybody. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it is. You know what I mean? He gotta man up and face everybody that he blocking on Instagram or running from. You know what I mean? You know, he ran from Jersey to Atlanta.
mm,
You know, he runs and that's what he does. He's on the move. You know, and if you see him, you know it's a crowd around and stuff like that. So
mm.
you know, just come bringing it to him. That's what it is.
Do you think that his heart was in the right place, or just, and he didn't have the experience, or do you think it's just his character?
I mean, from honestly, from hearing all these stories, you know what I mean. It must be his character. You know what I mean. Like, you know, he repeated it too many times. You know, it's
Mm,
not a mistake. You know what I mean. I've heard stories where he took, you know, I mean, the Avant case or something like that. It was a childhood friend that had a house. He put the money up, but
mm,
somehow the new house, it was they bought a house or something like that. The guy bought a house. It was his money 100%. Um, and what happened? Oh, so they knocked the house down, but the new construction house somehow was in Jay's name. He
mm,
went and sold the house and ran off with the money. It was supposed to sold for like $500,000. This was a childhood friend of his. You know what I mean? Um,
mm,
with me, I'm somebody that helped him out. You know what I mean?
mm,
I did him dirty. He can't say anything bad about me. You know what I mean? Without lying, or you know, prove it. I mean, prove it if you say anything bad about me. Like I said, you know, I'm solid. I don't do people dirty. I treat everybody with respect because that's the way I expect to be treated. You know what I mean? So, honestly, like I said, I think it's his character. You know, I think it's his character. You know, because
mm.
he's proven it too many times.
Yeah. Terrence Bailey in the chat says it sounds like Umar Johnson. That's in your neck of the woods, Philadelphia. We ain't talking about him tonight, but that's what you know what I mean. Do you think that what should be his punishment?
It's gonna be difficult to get the money back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, hopefully you do the right thing with the trust people, whatever money's remaining. You know what I mean? Try to give as many people the money back as possible, but I doubt it because with all this going on, you know what I mean? That's gonna be his dollars is gonna dry up, whatever he was making, and then you know he's gonna dash with that money. That's what you know, that's my forecast on the situation. But as far as him, you know what he needs to face, man, honestly, before anything, he need to you know man up with everybody that he did wrong. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. You know what I mean? And then you know, however, you know, the law feel like they need to handle it or whatever. You know, if it can, like you said, you know, a lot of it's investment related. So
Mm.
not much, you know, law can really do. But you know, he definitely needs his ass whooped if anything. You know what I mean?
How involved was Ernestine in this process?
I don't know her at all.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, okay.
So you know, I
Uh-huh.
don't have anything to say about Ernestine.
Does it bother you that his wordplay is still good and he's playing kind of like the victim role?
It doesn't really bother me, you know what I mean? Because the truth is going to always reveal itself, you know what I mean? That's
Sure,
why
sure.
people just have to like pay attention, you know what I mean? And like
Mhm,
listen to these other stories and stuff like that. You can't listen to his words. Like we already know he's good with words, so you
mhm,
gotta really look deeper than the surface. And
mhm.
you know, like before, you know, I got with him, you know, you could there wasn't much on it, you know, you couldn't research much, but now there's a lot of stuff that you can find.
And it's hundreds of people, man. I was doing over the past 3 weeks. I just type in his name and like scams, and I'm like, damn, YouTube video after YouTube video, and you research the hashtag. It's like, God damn, man. You know what I mean? And I just hope and pray that that people get a portion of their money back because I know he ain't ran through. And here's another thing too that bothered me as it pertains to investment. He bought a dead end asset, meaning the building. You know what I mean? Like he was bragging that it's paid for, and I'm like, hold up, it's paid for. It makes no. That's hustling back. That's hustling way backwards to put $2 million in a building with no rents coming in, no form of equity coming in. I would have rather bought with $2 million on the East Coast. Man, you could have bought all of Baltimore, man.
You know what I mean? A good portion of it, but you know that's just another thing that goes to show you that he's not who he says he is. You know, he's not a real estate investor. You know what I mean? He's never purchased a property on his own and flipped a house or rented it out or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, we're connecting these stories and stuff, you know what I mean, from now on back to when he was a child, you know what I mean? Nobody said that he would actually, flip the house on his own. You know, everything is a facade.
Yeah, it is, man. And 8:20, I know it's late over that, but man, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's late and stuff, man, and we're gonna have more dialogue as it pertains to this. But 8:20, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I mean Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:20 at the Black House.
Yes, sir.
Is that what it is? It's gonna be a lot of people out there, man. Have you heard from anybody like a lot of these celebrities that he's put on Front Street? Have they responded? Like Jeezy, T.I., the comedian. Have you heard from them at all?
No, not at all. You know what I mean? I know Jeezy definitely not gonna, respond because he probably regret even associating himself with it. He had everybody knows he had to do what he had to do during that time, for his image, in that case. So, I'm not even, you can't even fault him, but. I don't know. I don't know if T.I. don't really stand next to him. I did see the DC Young Fly or whatever. But honestly, I don't think he knows who he really is. You know what I mean? So
damn.
I anticipate him, moving away once he figure out, who he's dealing with as well.
Yeah, man. Sheesh. Man, it's a lot to unfold, and I'm excited as to what happens on August. We're a day and a half away, so I'm excited to find out what happens, and hopefully people get a sense of solace as it pertains to maybe if they don't get their money back, maybe put a lien on the property. I don't know how it works, but it's a lot of legalities that got to go through to even have like a civil victory, you know what I mean, or a legal victory, but we'll be watching, man. We'll be watching. Any last words you want to leave the people with?
Thank you for having me, tuning in and everything. Shout out to Fred. Silent Heroes,
hard money loan. And where can people get a hard money loan?
Flipfunding.com. You can
say it again, please.
Flipfunding.com. FLIPFUNDING.com. Or you can email loans@flipfunding.com. 844-354-7386 is the number.
And that's nationwide, correct?
Nationwide, yes, sir. Yeah, California, everywhere.
We appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's late over. I appreciate you giving us 35 minutes of your evening, man. Thank you, man.
Great. Appreciate you, man. Take it easy.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, peace.
All right, one. Yeah, man. So that's it. And hold on. Yeah, man. I thought it was important, man, because I'm just going to reiterate this again. One, if a man is literally stealing money from us, that's $14 million, man. $14 million, dog. And it has to, we got to stop the bleeding, you know what I mean? Or we got to stop that faucet from running, you know what I mean? And when the subscribers, he's in the chat right now. He sent me his paperwork, and he's one of the two people I'm speaking of. And I'm like, sheesh. You know what I mean? Man. And the phone conversations that the screenshots of the conversation that they had. What's up, champ side? That they had in the DM or whether through email. Man, we sitting over here chasing what's that guy with the rainbow here? 6ix9ine, and we got a guy that's literally taking $14 million out of our economy like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just rough, man. We gonna do some call-ins, man, and we gonna roll into Crawford and Canelo too. So wherever you guys want to go with this, we damn sure can. You know what I mean? If you want to call in Maurice and tell your story, man, you're definitely more than welcome, man, because man, this is highway robbery, man. Niggas take $700 from me That's a lot of money, dog. That's a lot of money. Almost got took for $500 the other day. You know what I mean? Just by accident. You know what I mean? It's just the reality of it, man. We got real life scammers out here, you know, and it's just incredibly important that we spread the news. You know what I mean? It's so important that we spread the news as it pertains to what's going on in our community. The same way we got to be held accountable for the young men and women doing graffiti. Yeah, smash the like button, y'all. So I got to start saying that. I got to be like Boo Bud. Smash the like button, y'all. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The same thing. We got to hold them accountable. 405. What it do?
This is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. It's a real nigga celebration.
What's up?
Barbershop.
What's up?
Yep, you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, yo, you need to start roasting Canelo already, man. You need to smoke his ass tonight. Light him up. I want to see everybody roasting him tonight. Can we get that done tonight? Is that possible?
We'll work on it. We'll get there for sure. We'll get there.
All right, my brother.
I appreciate you.
Block for me, black man. Know they trying to stretch us.
501. What's up?
What's good, Fred? This is Maurice, man.
Oh, take your time. Take your time, dog. Take your time because we got to make some non-believers into believers, man. You have a personal story, man. Go ahead. Take your time.
Yeah. So pretty much like the dude that just called, I heard about scamming Jay from the Breakfast Club, but when he did that interview with Trill Boxing Talk, I was pretty much like, oh shit, you know, Trill, you know, they got him on the show. I'm gonna fuck with him. So maybe 2 days later, I signed up for the course. It was like $697.
Wow.
I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up, man. He was on Trill Talk. He was talking some good shit. You know, fuck it. He seemed like a cool guy. Mm-hmm. So August 1st rolls around, and that was the first day where the course started. And pretty much that $697 was for a year. And they said that shit was gonna come with a lot of skip tracing tools and all of that shit. But when I get in the course, the guy Isaac Grace, he was the instructor, he was like, oh, okay, guys, and don't forget, before we leave, whenever you guys are ready to send in an extra $2,000, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this extra $2,000 coming from? And they was like, well, that's for the skip tracing. You know, you got to invest in yourself. And I was like, man, that's not what people was telling me. So meanwhile, I'm having this conversation in the chat. It was through a Zoom call. So Tony the Closer just pops up in the chat out of nowhere, and he's putting